Hey, it's MK, and I am here with Off the Board as well as Mixed Media Mayhem, and today we have this really cool inspiration for the 4th of July. So I have decided to to do pictures about Canada. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's funny, but that's hilarious. Anyways, I've also got a couple images here from Minte, but unfortunately I can't open the bag right at this moment. And then I've got some buttons that were sent to me from Canada, as well as this flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. I've got some washi tape that does not end up on this layout. And then I have these I think they're called shimmer pins from Close to My Heart in red and scarlet. I've got some uber old tickets from My Mind's Eye, and they are from the So Sophie. Look at that. 2010. You guys, I ordered these just a couple days ago from Scrapbook Generations. How fun is that they bring back a bunch of oldies but goodies, right? I also have a ton of scraps. Now, these scraps, some of them came from my kit conspiracy, I want to say in November of last year. And these were, it was a Baby Got Scraps not mixed media kit, but little page kit that I put together that never happened. So I've got all these awesome blues going on, a gorgeous wood grain that matches, just a whole bunch of colors that I love. I also have this brand new to me stencil from Arden Create, or I think it's Arden Creations. I don't really remember, you guys, but it's the Distressed Diamonds. And yeah, I don't remember any of these pictures, but now come to think of it, I do remember where all these scraps came from, and it was the November. I don't remember which week, but it was from a kit conspiracy. Most of them did. I don't remember the stars coming from them, and I don't remember, the darker blue. I don't believe that was part of our kit either because it's not 49 and Market. So anyways, I am going to utilize this circle that I have cut in my 49 and Market paper, and I'm going to try and create a scene on my layout through this little circle. Not because, I could have made it into a porthole. I could have made it a total cruise page, and I think that's maybe where I wanted to go with this page. But then I needed to add the red, so I decided to change my mind entirely. But it has been a few months since I've put this page kit together, so who knows what I was thinking. But I vaguely remember that ocean with the boat and the bird and putting it into the circle. So I saw a couple videos, reels, I should say, where people are painting, and I don't know exactly what they're using to paint. I think it's watercolor. It might also be their ink smushed in and then watered down. Again, watercolor. And then using their stencil as their packaging technique, but then they get this really cool stencil design. And so I thought I would give it a try. Well, it didn't work for me. I did get the packaging technique. Woohoo, cool beans. I still get an effect that works well, but not the effect I was going for. And so I decided to take my darker red and actually use the stencil as is and try to make some of the blotches come through. Again, didn't work for me because my pens are very, very juicy. So at this point, I'm just going to make it look like it was packaging. And then I decided to mix the two colors around my ring to highlight the distressed edge that I gave it earlier on. I think that was the very first thing that I did. So I did a little bit of the red, and now I'm doing the rest of it in this scarlet color, and it'll dry a little bit lighter. It's not as dark as it looks. But I do have to say the glitter went everywhere. Now my page is very, very sparkly, and I absolutely love it. Not really. I'm being sarcastic. I apologize. But yes, the shimmer, for some reason, which I have never had this happen, you guys, but the shimmer actually flaked off. And that's just weird to me. Or it was because my pens were uber super juicy. That could be why, but I have never had that problem with these specific pens. Okay, so all these little scraps, I didn't know exactly what to do with all of these little scraps. And so I brought out my inner Janet and decided to make a whole bunch of layers and build up my pictures. Now, these are 3 separate pictures of the cruise that me, Janet, and Lynn all went on, and all of our spouses. I didn't need them to be 4x6. I didn't need them to be any larger than what they are. I actually printed these at 3x4, but because of the backgrounds and you know, us not being right up in the picture frame because we wanted to get the boat and everything, so we had to stand pretty far away, but I printed them on 3x4 and then cut them out. I probably could have printed them a little bit bigger, like maybe a 3.5 by 5.5 to make the frame bigger, but I felt like this was fine, considering that, you know, I just didn't really need, it was the effect I was going for rather than the actual picture. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Because that frame is vibrant and loud. Now, I was laughing at the beginning of the video because yes, today is July 4th. Happy Independence Day, by the way. And I am doing I'm doing a layout about Canada. It's not actually about Canada. It's just fun pictures that they had at the border when you get off, or at the pier, I should say. It's not, I don't know if it's a border. Does islands have borders? Probably not. But when you get off the boat and you come through customs, they've got this giant picture frame and your boat is parked in there beautifully. I don't know if it's just a princess dock or if it was just convenient that our boat happened to, it's a ship, you guys. I know it's a ship, but I like the word boat. It's a fun word to say. Say it with me. It's the word boat. Cannot put a smile on your face. Please tell me it puts a smile on your face when you say the word boat. I do. Anyways, I'm all over the place today. It's been fun. But I just think it's kind of cool that our ship happened to be parked right there for this picture perfect moment. And so there wasn't really a lot to say about it. I do have other layouts that I want to do because we took a great walk almost from one end of Victoria to the other end. So we start at the very bottom and we didn't walk. We bussed all the way to the other end, which I think is called Sydney. The little town of Sydney up there. And so it was fun. I'm not going to lie. It was fun. But anyways, I laugh because it's Independence Day and, you know, I'm not doing fireworks or a parade or anything like that. I am doing this vibrant red frame of us in Canada, which I'm fine with. Okay, so I was at first going to use the wooden, what is that called? The wood grain scrap that I had to cover up my gap. And then I realized I was going to need a spot for my pictures. And so I just made all of these layers large enough to cover up that little gap. It worked out beautifully. It looks like it was meant to be. Nobody will ever know that my circle is not fully covered unless you tell everybody, right? So I did channel my inner Janet and layered up all of those little scraps. I had to let go. I know it was very hard for me, but I had to let go that I did not need to see all the pattern. That is very hard for me, you guys. When I buy a piece of pattern paper, I want to see the pattern. I don't understand, unless it's a good stripe like these little stripes here. I do not understand why you guys buy pattern paper, and not you guys, but why anybody buys a pattern paper just to see 1/4 inch of it. And then not cut that 1/4 inch off so you can use more of it later. I don't understand that. And I'm trying to, though. I'm trying to channel all of the layering gurus out there. I am trying to channel them. I'm trying to let it go. And because all of these scraps were so microscopic, and what else would I use them for other than more layouts like this? I let go and covered my patterns. I really did. And so I'm so proud of myself that I did this too, because of the fact that you know, I just kept telling myself I have to keep making blue layouts if I save every tiny little scrap. If I don't just use it. Just use it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Especially the stars. The stars are a Vicky Bouton. Again, all of this stuff came from my stash. Most of it came from the Kit Conspiracy Kit back in November. We had a mashup where we mixed P13 with 49 in Market, and we came up with this super cool kit. I loved it. I really did. And I've been using it on my cruise ship layouts. And so I thought that's why I brought out this cruise ship picture. Plus, it was allowing me to bring in the red. I love the little splash of red, by the way. I'm in love with it. So anyways, yes, that is where it all started. That's where it was all from. But as I was making this kit for January's series, which is called Baby Got Scraps, I threw in these stripes that are from Vicky Bouton. I don't remember. I think it's Storyteller. I don't really remember, you guys. I flipped it over for a heartbeat. Did you catch it? I didn't. I think it's Storyteller. And then, of course, I threw in a darker blue that was from P13 as well, but it was from a different P13. So the P13 that we used in combination with 49 in Market was called C'est La Vie. And then this P13 is called Soulmate, Soul, S-O-U-L, mate, or S-O-L-E. No, I think it's S-O-U-L, soul. Anyways, English, it's hard. It's a very hard language. But I'm still trying to master it, you guys, and I've got a couple years experience. But anyways, so all of my scraps are just a mash of what looked good together on my desk, right? I believe I also have a grid, which is that torn piece that you'll see put up in the upper right-hand corner. That's from Paper Rose, and it is from Mountain Trek by Paper Rose. And so again, a completely different scrap of leftover from gosh knows where, but I know it wasn't from our Kit Conspiracy kits because we only had the two manufacturers. Okay, so now that you know where all the papers are from-ish, so there's the grid paper there. Oh, and I added some more grid paper underneath one of my photos as well, so I see that too. So anyways, now that you know where all the paper's from, I decided that I did not leave any room for my washi tape, but I liked the little washi tape because it matched the stripes, but it added that little bit of red because I was worried that I wasn't going to have enough red on this layout to go with our inspiration. Now, our inspiration, so there's two different things. Off the board, the inspiration was supposed to be fashion. And then, of course, we have Mixed Media Mayhem. So Mixed Media Mayhem is basically just using mixed media on your layout. Sometimes we have a recipe where it's three or more ingredients to use as on your layout, not as your layout, but on your layout. Sometimes we are lifting someone else's mixed media because it's such a cool technique. And so we lift how they did their mixed media. And then other times we have inspiration that allows us to mix it up. So this type of inspiration, especially fashion, you could have added texture, you could have added fiber, you could have added fabric to your layout, you could have added ribbon to your layout, things like that. Because of the clothing, you can pick from the colors, which is what I did. I also picked the stars because that star dress is just adorable. And then, of course, you can use the shoes as inspiration and draw your layout into three little stripes going across your page because the little bands on the shoes. You could add ruffles and ruffle up your paper, pleat it, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to represent the two dresses in the middle. Anything like that, you guys. You could definitely do that, or you could take the picture in itself, and because it has 4 girls on top, 2 girls on the side, and then 4 girls at the bottom with a title in the middle, you could use that as a layout inspiration. So anything on this inspiration image can be used for inspiration as long as you bring in some sort of mixed media. So for me, because I had a lot going on and I knew this was going to be very paper heavy because I have a lot of scraps that I wanted to try to bust out, I knew my mixed media was going to be very light. I did not want to do a whole bunch of mixed media and then find out that I used one little strip of paper. That is not something I wanted to do, and that's definitely not something I wanted to accomplish within this particular series, because on top of off the board, I am trying to clean off my desk, right? Because I have a ton of page kits and paper kits that I have put together throughout the year from January until June, sitting on my desk in a little crate that it's just been collecting since January all the way up until last month. So it was just a clean out. I thought, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time before I start my 31 days of cut files next month. Oh my god. And just get my desk cleaned up. And plus I get to use all these kits that I've already put together, right? Okay, so in my little baggie, I found a ton of cute little things that I could use. I found a little anchor. Well, actually I found a lot of anchors with flowers and ropes and things like that on them. Oh my gosh, I picked the most delicate one because I really didn't want something heavy up at the top, right? The other ones were a bit thicker and heavier and all that stuff. I found a boat that allowed me to 3D the boat that was in the picture. So it's actually a boat, you guys. It's a sailboat right there. It's not a ship. It's a boat. If it was a bit bigger, it would be a ship, right? What classifies a ship and a boat? I think it's their size. In all honesty, I'm going to look that up because now I'm curious. And then, of course, I found this cool little lighthouse. So I thought, oh, I could make a cute little scene down at the bottom. And then, of course, I love this little life preserver. And then I found a ship's wheel. The cute little bow with the maple leaf inside just was adorable. I could not leave that out. And that is my layout, you guys. I absolutely loved putting this layout together. I had a blast trying to use everything. I didn't use everything. I still have a little bit of stripes left over. I believe I still have my wood grain left over and a little bit of that dark blue. Reads as a solid paper left over, but I'm okay with that. And also too, my flare was already smushed, so I probably was going to use it on another layout and it didn't make the cut, but I didn't have to flatten my flare because it already was. Forgot to tell you guys that. But anyways, again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have down below for off the board, and don't forget to try one of these awesome inspiration pieces. You guys, there's inspiration everywhere, I swear. Also, too, I have some links down below for Mixed Media Mayhem. And again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will check you guys all later. Bye.